Hello, my friends. I am very excited to bring you this topic this week. And oh my gosh, it is just a beautiful day. We're here in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. There was kind of this cozy fog this morning, and then it all lifted. And now I'm able to see outside of my studio doors. It's all glass on this side, and I'm able to see outside to across the street where I have a beautiful view of the South Puget Sound, as well as the elementary school directly across the street where my daughter actually goes. And I have the wonderful experience of multiple times a day, these little amazing beings busting through the doors for a slice of freedom as they run towards the monkey bars and the swings and to have fun and run around and scream and be just full of joy. And it is just the most wonderful thing as an adult to be reminded of that kind of unencumbered joy that can happen. And it reminds me of the possibility that we all have, and that we can try new things and explore new things when we're kids. And as we get older, we start to develop what we're going to be talking about today, which is an inner critic. Something that I will talk about as far as why it's happening and why evolution kind of pushed us in that direction. But it's something that can hold us back if we're using it to stop us from creating new stories that can propel us toward what we want, to what we want to achieve, to that new job you want, or that new role you want to pursue, or that new hobby you want to try, or anything really. In fact, I've lovingly named my inner critic Frank the Parrot, and I'll tell you how I deal with him. But I had a wonderful example of this just a couple of weeks ago when, as a family, we were gathering around to once again move through the Harry Potter series. And there is a specific movie in the Harry Potter series where they have an amazing example of this. And I love the way that they address working with their inner critic. Because what they do is there's this scary monster type thing, I believe it's called a Bogart, that is trapped in a closet. And each child has to line up in a line. And this monster that's in the closet knows what's in their head and knows what they fear the most, what holds them back from fulfilling their potential, what scares them, even if they've never told anyone before. And it will present itself as a direct copy of whatever it is. So if you're scared of spiders, you're going to see a giant spider. If you're scared of brooms, there's going to be the biggest, scariest broom you've ever seen. And each of them has to line up and with a spell, look it directly into the eyes and say, "Riddikulus." And when they do that, it changes because they have personified it as something silly and not worth obsessing over. And then it's able to have no power over them anymore. They can dismiss it and move towards what they really want. And I thought this was such a beautiful example of what we can do as adults with our inner critic. So why do you want to do this? You want to learn how to identify, make friends with, and ultimately quiet your inner critic. And that's exactly what I'm going to show you how to do today. How to become aware of your inner critic. That's the first thing we're going to talk about, because once you train your brain to be curious about it and to be aware of when it's happening, you can start to build that muscle where you start to not let it have as much control over you, even if you didn't realize that it was happening. Because man, that inner critic can be insidious with just a couple key phrases or words or flashes of images of things that didn't go right for us in the past. It can stop us from speaking up in the meeting, from expressing our ideas fully, from pursuing the thing that we want to do. And that's not something I want for you. It's not something that I wanted in my life, and it's something that I was able to start to wrestle with and then ultimately get control over. And that's a gift I want to give to you too. So I'm going to show you how to become aware of your inner critic and then have that be the key to dismantling your imposter syndrome. So this is going to allow you to build that muscle, like I said, so that you know when it's happening and you can move towards growth, even though it's slightly uncomfortable at first. This will help you to pursue your goals. It's just a complete game changer, and I want to gift this to you. So let's talk a little bit about where this stems from. So it comes from a very, very good place, because from an evolution standpoint, we all have something baked into us. Literally, it's right above our brainstem. There's an area of our brain, that handles the lower functions. It's right above the stuff that handles just the basics, like the heart continues beating when we're sleeping, all of the things that happen in our body automatically that we don't need to think about. Right above that level is something that's meant to keep us safe. And we call it fight or flight, or lizard brain, as I refer to it as well, and other people refer to it. It's that thing that's supposed to keep you safe. That's supposed to, when you see a dark alley, make you question whether you should walk down it or not. Are we safe right now? Should we move towards or away from something? Should we fight or flight? And it's a wonderful thing to have. It kept our ancestors from being eaten by saber-toothed tigers. A wonderful skill to have. The thing is, as we evolved and as our brains kept growing and growing forward, and we developed more and more skills for being able to process information and make our own decisions, not just based off of animal instinct, that part of our brain is still there, and it wants a job. It wants to keep us safe. It has the best intentions for us. But the thing is, that part of our brain really wants to rely on what's happened in the past. What did we not do well? What did we fail at? What were those emotions, those negative things that made us feel bad, that we didn't feel safe? It wants to keep us from having that happen again. It's trying to keep us safe. The thing is, if we want to grow, if we want to progress, if we want to move towards stories that ultimately will make us more fulfilled, we can't allow that to hold us back, that fear, that inner critic, those small thoughts and sentences and words of, oh, I'm not going to be able to do that. Or for some of our clients, for instance, that work with us on our Storied Teams course, when they're first learning how to engage with the camera, even turning on the camera can be when that red light comes on. I've had executives, huge executives at large corporations that are amazing in front of a boardroom, but as soon as that red light, that camera comes on, they have all kinds of self-doubt and stuff that kicks in, and all of a sudden they might have a little bit of trouble. So everyone has this. Everyone has this inner critic. It's that thing that says, I bet I don't look that good right now, or I'm not going to do that well, or, why did I say that way? That must have sounded stupid. All kinds of little things that this inner critic is trying to do to keep us safe, to keep us from looking like a fool, to keep us from emotional harm. It thinks that we're going to be harmed. Now mine, as I've said before, I have lovingly nicknamed Frank. And Frank is this horrible looking, molting, he might have a little bit of mold in there. I'm pretty sure he smokes 2 packs a day. Cigarettes. He's a parrot. He likes to sit on my shoulder and has a very raspy voice. And he likes to remind me of all the ways that this could go wrong, that we should probably worry about all kinds of stuff. It's probably better just to not pursue that new idea or that new goal or that new objective, because in the past we tried something similar and it didn't work out. So let's just not do that. Or, oh my gosh, I can't believe you said that way, Aaron. You should have made a different word choice. You should have done that differently. In the moment, while I am actively working, while I'm doing things with people. And it can be so distracting. And so we want Frank to have a new job. Instead of Frank being in charge and telling us what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and some of you might think I want to banish Frank, but I don't. I'm glad he's there. I'm just choosing with the forward part of my brain not to listen to him anymore. So this is what you do. You say, Frank, I realize you're there. I totally get that you're trying to keep me safe right now. But what I want you to do is I want you to sit in the back seat. I'm driving right now with the forward part of my brain, and I'm in control. We're going to be fine. We could get hurt. Who knows? Could happen. But I'm in control, and I've got this now. Now, Frank does not like hearing this at first, and your version of Frank won't either. They're going to be like an angry toddler in the back seat that throws their Cheerios everywhere and their juice and is just having a full-on go to 11 meltdown. Because you need to listen to them. We could get hurt here. Something bad might happen. It's true. Or I might have made that wrong word choice. It might be something small. That might have happened. That's okay. I'm going to still keep moving forward. If you start listening more and more to Frank, to your own inner critic, they actually distract you and get you more off message, more off topic, further away from the stories that move you towards your goals. And so here's what I want you to do. I want you to actually pick a totem for your inner critic. If everyone has one, and this is a direct link to imposter syndrome, then we want to identify it, and we want to do our own version of saying Riddikulus in the Harry Potter example. We want to go ahead and make this inner critic our friend. We're gonna be curious about it. We're gonna notice that Frank is there. I want you to pick a totem, works for you. It might be a camel dressed in a tutu. The sillier, the better. Pick one that is absolutely ridiculous. Something that makes you smile. And I want you to visually picture becoming aware of when your totem, when your Frank is telling you that you can't do something, that you can't move towards something, that you've just screwed up in the moment. I can't believe you just did that. You know, some of you do this at night too. Some of you do this at night. You lay in bed and you think of all the dumb things you did that day, right as you're going to bed. I know you. I know you because I am you. I want you to notice that. I want you to pick a totem. I want you to say, hey, we're not doing that right now. You can absolutely be here. Thank you so much for trying to keep me safe. But you're going to sit in the back seat. Here, I'm going to give you a new juice. Here's some more Cheerios. I'm going to strap you in, and you can throw a tantrum if you want. But I'm in charge right now, and we're moving forward. We're moving forward with momentum towards what we want, towards the story that we want, towards more fulfillment. Because if we listen to the imposter, if we listen to Frank, then we don't move towards growth, even though it's uncomfortable. And so that's what I want you to do. Those are the steps. I want you to realize that you have an inner critic. Start to become curious and notice when it's happening in the moment. Then I want you to assign a totem. The sillier, the better. And then I want you to acknowledge Frank, your version of Frank, and put him in the back seat. It'll be fine. Just let him know, hey, it's totally fine that you're worried about that. Thank you so much for keeping me from getting eaten by a saber-toothed tiger. And thank you so much for keeping my ancestors safe. But I don't need your services right now. You get to still be part of the team. You're here, but you're not going to be making the conscious decisions that we're doing in order to move forward with what we want in our lives. So that's what I want you to do. If you're able to address this, if you're able to go ahead and start noticing your inner critic, I promise you that imposter syndrome, that the things and the stories that you have built up over time that have been keeping you from pursuing what you want and moving towards the life and the goals that you want, all of a sudden those barriers are going to get thinner and thinner and thinner until you're able to start walking and then running after what you want. All right. Thank you so much for listening this week, my friends. I will talk to you soon.